There is a lot happening. How y'all feeling on this morning? I hope y'all got y'all coffee ready, cause we got some things to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We got some things we got to talk about. I guess first and foremost, segregation. We going we gonna start hot. Let's talk about this threat of segregation. I just want to say that threatening segregation. Oh damn! Oh, good luck to you, sis. That's insane. Threatening segregation of Black people is not a threat. It's not a threat. It's not the flex that you think it is. It won't do what you think it's going to do. It won't. It won't impact Black people the way you think it's going to impact Black people. The real threat is going to be to white folks. You hear me? And I just made a video about this, but Black people have done this, and I just want us to make sure, or I want everyone to make sure that when Black success is generated out of this segregation, out of the segregation that they want to push, when Black success is created out of that segregation, just make sure that they don't burn it down. And it'll be a lot harder for them to burn down this time because Black people have advanced much further than where we were when Tulsa, Oklahoma was burned down. We have advanced much further than when Greenwood was burned down. Okay, Black Wall Street. We have come much further. So this time, when Black folks create spaces of wealth and Black community and Black success, I don't want to hear nothing about it. You get what I'm saying? And there's no takebacks. No takebacks. Right? If y'all want segregation, and here's the reality. Segregation was not ended in favor of Black folks. That is why when you seen them trying to integrate schools and integrate Black kids into schools, there were white people in droves standing outside waiting to terrorize them. Okay? White people were not on the behalf. They didn't want to separate, to desegregate. The reason desegregation happened is because Black people started to become too successful. Let's clarify that. The reason that they chose to desegregate was because Black folks were too successful. The research has shown that when Black kids attend Black schools with Black teachers that look like them and other Black kids, and they're learning about their real history, Black kids were doing better in school. Black communities were building Black wealth and funneling Black money. And it's so interesting to me because we always make jokes about, well, in New York City, where I'm from, about how Jewish people kind of own Brooklyn and, well, own most of the city, and they funnel their money back into their own communities. Black people have done that before. The difference is that society has seen it as a threat. Society sees Black people's come up as a threat. Society sees Black people's education as a threat. And then when Black people have armed themselves, okay? When Black people have armed themselves to protect themselves against the outside world, East St. Louis, Missouri, when they had access to firearms and things like that to preserve their community, they said that we were a threat. And so my thing is, if y'all want segregation to happen, let it be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one to fight that. But the reality of it is it won't last long. It won't last long, and let me tell you why. It won't last long because that means that people won't have access to Black culture anymore. that means that the same way that they're dying with the box braids and the hairstyles and the black this and the hip hop and all the black culture, that means it won't exist. Yeah, I came straight. I came with it hot. That means that y'all, all of the access to black people won't exist anymore. That means that y'all won't be able to look at black people and see what we doing and copy the style. You hear me? And so we already know how that's going to go because these proposals are being created by old white men who are not on the ground, who don't really understand the reality, who think that they're creating space for black men to be more successful. Like I truly I this is where I'm at. It's like they think that these old white men who are in office, who are past their time, are making these decisions because they feel like white men are losing power. This is all a power play. This is all a power play of white men feeling like they've lost control. This is a power play of white men trying to regain control and not understanding the implications of what they're good morning of what they're really pushing, of the agenda that they're really pushing. Let's just be clear. So it's like, okay, fine. Do what you must. Do what you must. And the threat of that, listen, I understand I understand why people love Martin Luther King. He's my frat brother. Good morning. Yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? He was pushing for desegregation and wanting us to be on one kumbaya community. And that's beautiful. Not everybody wanted that. You hear what I'm saying? And we're here now. And so to threaten segregation, who do you think is going to impact the most? I'm so concerned. You know what I'm saying? I'm so concerned. Like, and so for me, it's like do what you got to do. Do what you must. You hear what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I didn't say that's all he wanted. So please take it easy, not too much on Martin Luther King. I didn't say that's all he wanted. I said that's what he fought for. He obviously fought for civil rights, but and he obviously changed his mind towards the end. But y'all are not going to threaten black people with something that we've already done and been successful in. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You hear what I'm saying? Like the reality is that we will do what we need to do, but just make sure y'all don't burn it down. Because when the time comes, it's not going to go through. Nobody in their right mind at this juncture of where we are as a country, only white men, truly, only white men have the mindset that they would be able to survive without black people. And it has nothing to do with black folks. It actually, if the truth is that it actually has very little to do with black folks. And it has everything to do with white male fragility. You hear what I'm saying? It has very little to do with black folks. This is literally about white men and their feelings because they can't keep up. This is about white men chasing power because they feel like they're losing it because they have not worked hard enough. This is about white men feeling like they want to go back to making America great again, which is when white men did not have to work hard to achieve anything. This is what it's about. It's literally about white men wanting to get back in position of power but not wanting to have to do the work. So what do? You get in a position of power and you win because you ran a campaign on hate. You get in a position of power and you try to change laws to give white men the upper hand instead of forcing them to work hard. Like, it's that simple. That's the reality. This is about white men having their counterparts surpass them. And now that their counterparts are outdoing them and running circles around them, they need to find a way. And the thing is they're not leveling the playing field. The playing field is being leveled through the hard work of every other marginalized group. But white men feel like the playing field shouldn't be leveled. Elon Musk and Donald Trump have never worked hard for a thing a day in their lives. Shout out to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like, I truly, white men have not worked for anything. And so now, because they're tired of trying to work hard, they're tired of trying to find ways to keep themselves in power. They're tired of having to fight for their spot. And instead of doing what they should do, which is go work hard, which is ironic because white men are the first people to tell everybody else in America that they need to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. They are the first people, white men are the first people to tell everybody else to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And if you work hard, then you get what you need to do. However, they refuse to work hard. Instead, they are actively trying to find ways to make it so that white men stay in power without having to do any work. That's what it comes down to. This entire, our country right now is being built off white male fragility. I need y'all to understand that. It's a bunch of white men who are sitting in offices of power. And to be honest, all of the black coons that are chasing behind these white men in power, the Snoop Dogs, the Soulja Boys, the Nelly, it's because they also think that as men they shouldn't have to work hard. And guess what? Them white men is not checking for you. You don't have a seat at the table. Kanye West. Y'all want proximity to whiteness. They not going to bang with you. They don't bang with them neither. But that's what they're all chasing. They're chasing a bag. They're listening to these white men who are and probably sitting in spaces like, yeah, men are supposed to run the world, looking stupid, running at ready to lick boots. And in all actuality, you don't count to them either. Our country is literally being ran off of white male fragility. That's what this is. And I just like, if we want to keep it a bean. And the thing is, if they just worked harder, if they just pulled themselves up by the bootstraps, and it's like, okay, so segregate. Because you know what's going to happen when segregation comes to play is that they're going to realize that they still need to work harder because black people are going to be successful in a world of segregation. And instead of doing hard work to actually get something done, they're going to repeat history. They're going to try to burn it to the ground. They're going to try to burn it to the ground. And that's just the reality of it. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay? Black Wall Street. Okay? Rosewood, Florida. Y'all still ain't going to want to work hard. So y'all can segregate if you want to, but you're still not going to want to work hard. And that's what it comes down to. Come on, Sienna Village, Times Square, East St. Louis. What's up? Colorado, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia. It already existed, baby. But the reality is that no matter how hard, no matter how much you segregate, when you turn around and realize that black people are thriving, your first response will still be to try to burn it down. Why? Because white men don't feel like they need to work hard. White men don't feel like they need to work hard. White men feel like they should just be given things. And when you're so used to things being handed to you and you can't figure it out and you can't understand why things are not going your way anymore, when you can't figure out how to get back on top, when you feel like you're losing control, then what? Okay, segregation. Work harder. Work harder, white men. You mad at the wrong people. Y'all are literally mad at the wrong people. Y'all need to, and this is what happens when people are not introspective. You want to blame other people for your lack of success. This is why they keep talking about wanting to get rid of DEI. What they're really saying is that they want to get rid of the advancement of Black and marginalized people. Okay? What they're really saying is that they want the advancement of Black people to slow down. When they say they want to get rid of DEI, DEI is a term that is now used as a derogatory term. DEI is a blanket statement. You can't just say we want to get rid of DEI. DEI is training. What they're really trying to say is we want to slow down Black advancement. We want to slow down the advancement of marginalized groups. And he made that very clear. When the plane crashed, and that man got on there and tried to blame it on a DEI hire and said people with special needs without any proof that anyone of the sort was in any capacity in control of what happened. That's what they mean. That's the reality. The truth been out. This is not about getting rid of cultural responsive pedagogy in schools. This is about toning down how we talk about whiteness in schools. This is about toning down people being able to tell the truth about white people. This is about toning down the fact that Christopher Columbus is no longer celebrated because people realize that he didn't discover shit. It already existed. This is about toning down the fact that the founding forefathers, or whatever you want to call them, that sit up on that mountain ain't find a goddamn thing. This is about making white men the hero instead of the villain. That's what this is about. That's always been what it's about. That's been Trump's entire campaign, making the white man the hero instead of the villain. Let's stop telling white men how they have literally been the most violent people in any history at all. That's what they want. When they said that they don't feel like white children should be able to go to schools and talk about and have to hear about whatever or feel responsible, whatever, they want us to stop talking about how white men are the most violent people in history. They want us to stop talking about how a white man came over to America that already existed and killed hundreds of thousands of people. They want us to stop talking about the history of how white men went to Africa with guns and things like that, where when people in Africa had no weapons or didn't have any technology, like technological weapons, they want us to stop talking about that. They want us to talk about Black people in bondage. They want us to get back to a point where we talk about Black people as slaves, and that's it. Black people were slaves. They want people to teach kids that black people were complicit in slavery. That's what they want. Even though that's not true. They want to teach Black kids that Black people were selling each other into slavery, when we all know that that's not the reality of the story. This is the segregation they want. They want to stop having white men have to be the villain. They want to go back to a world in which white men were seen as the hero, even if they are the villain. That is Trump's entire personality. Trump's entire personality is that he wants to be the hero. He did this with the TikTok ban when he first came in. He wants to make himself the hero in the story. So he makes up lies. He stood in front of an entire press conference, whatever the thing was, and made up lie after lie after lie. And then when black folks told the truth, Al Green, he asked them to be removed. Why? Because he does not want the truth about white men being violent and white men lying to come out. Correct, he did it with the stimulus checks, where he signed his name on them, knowing good and goddamn well that he actually wasn't in favor of the stimulus checks. Trying to make it seem like he gave the community stimulus checks. Meanwhile, that little petty ass $2,500, that don't even pay rent. That don't even pay rent. And now they after all of them people who created fraud during the pandemic, because the PPP loans, all of the things that people had to do to survive. Yes, they did sign a bill about segregation. It is beyond, it is beyond me that people would in any way, shape, or form make it seem like it was anything other, if this is anything other than white men trying to push an agenda for other white men. Like options. I truly believe that. And segregate, listen, I said this on a live earlier. Segregation is not a threat to black folks. It's just not. It's not. Y'all are, this is not the flex you think it is. Like, it's not the flex you think it is. But go for it. But like I said earlier, just make sure you don't, that you don't try to take it back. No takebacks like you have in the past. No burning it down like you have in the past. And when it becomes a threat, and when black people level up and you don't have access to black culture anymore and all of those things, make sure you leave it at that. Because when black people pack it up, okay. What y'all gonna do? Because y'all can't even, at this point, if we keeping it a beam, we're having arguments still about white people not saying the N-word. We are still having conversations, and the good Lord, Jesus, Jaquan Christ 2025, we're still talking about why you can't say the N-word. And white people are crashing out behind it. There are white people crashing out behind that. There are white people crashing out behind black folks saying that you can't come to the cookout. The cookout is not a real cookout. And white folks are upset about not being able to attend a cookout that doesn't really exist. Do you understand what we're saying here? There is outrage about not being able to attend a cookout that is not a real cookout. And you want me to believe that y'all are going to be able to successfully live in a society without black folks? Baby. I'm telling you right now, it don't even make no sense. And again, we've done that. We've already these places have existed. Segregation has existed. Black people have existed in spaces alone. Like, this is not new. Like, this is what they've done in the past. And again, when we've created millions, when we had Black Wall Street, where black millionaires existed. And to be quite frank, the beauty of it is that black people won't be getting unalived by the police at the same rate. Fine. Let us police our own communities. Let us build our own banks with our own interest rates, where our money is going back into our community. Forget it. What's a sundown town? You hear what I'm saying? What's that? What's the Ku Klux Klan? Fine. We do it ourselves. Okay, black hospitals. Let's get the birth, the mortality, the rate of black women dying during birth. Let's reduce that. Let's have more black babies be born into the world healthy, because black doctors are delivering them. Let's have more black women survive after having babies. Fine. Let's stop putting black men in jail for absolutely no reason. Let's stop having black men have to engage in crimes of poverty because we build our own wealth. Let's stop having black men have to go to jail for life over trying to survive and feed their family. Let's stop deciding how many kids go to, how many beds jails need to make based on a racist ass test and racist test scores. Let's get rid of it. Let's stop measuring how smart black children are based on an education system that don't look like and sound like them. Let's create more access to colleges for black children. Let's do it. Black people will then, in fact, live longer. We will, in fact, live longer. Because right now, not having segregation is killing us. The desegregation is killing us. Our own army, for real. Let's stop sending black people to wars that don't got shit to do with us. Let's talk about that. Let's stop sending black people to go fight wars that don't got nothing to do with black people, that we wouldn't have engaged in the first place. So while Trump is gaslighting all of these other parts of the world and sparking up and then waiting to say that we need to send young black men off to war, let's pull the plug. Segregation means more black people being alive. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. So yeah, okay. Okay, let's do it. And I guarantee you, everything that y'all think about black people will decrease. People talk about black on black crime, which is really not a thing, but I bet you'll see less black people killing black people. Why? Because we won't be in survival mode. We won't be crabs in a barrel. It won't be a dog eat dog world. Black people hurting each other will decrease because we won't be in survival mode. We're not competing with one another for the spot. Segregation is not going to kill us. Segregation is not going to harm us. You hear what I'm saying? So listen, if that's what everybody's on, then who am I to say no? I'm not about to fight that. But the reality is that's not what y'all want. Y'all want white men to live in mediocrity again. This is a ploy. This is a way of sending a message that you truly believe that white men shouldn't have to work hard. This is y'all saying that black people are advancing a little too quick for y'all and y'all need to take control of it. This is y'all saying that you really don't want marginalized groups to be up. Because the last time we did segregation, y'all still wanted black folks to fight in y'all wars. And at this point, it's like, just be honest about what you're looking for. You don't have to lie. We're clear. We're all clear on that. We've had our own black communities and you have burned it to the ground. And what's so interesting is that when everything was happening during George Floyd, and everybody was, and people were burning cities to the ground because they wanted peace. People were talking crazy about black folks and saying, why would you burn down your own city? Why would you burn down your own city? Y'all have done it anyway. The cities that we've had that have been successful, y'all have burned it down. The cities that are now being burnt down are people living in poverty. And that's what people do when they're poor. Maxine Waters just said it the other day after that y'all president went up there and said what he said. He wants violence. That man is trying to ignite violence because although we hear all of the stuff about peaceful protesting, when poor people need to survive and don't have the means to survive, we have always seen that the only way for them to be able to demand what they need is through violence. They are looking to incite violence. Because at this point, you're pushing people to the point where violence is the only answer. You're looking for people to become violent. When folks who are in poverty cannot do the thing for themselves or don't have access, this is what's going to happen with people who are dealing with the immigration issues, where they're snatching money away from sanctuary cities, and people who are illegally here but are not actually committing any crimes are going to have to commit crimes because they have to survive. People who were dependent on Medicaid and SNAP benefits to feed their families and go to the doctors, what do you think they're going to do? Turn to crimes of survival. And that's not new. This is not new. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to make a way for their family. You would be surprised how far people are willing to go to make a way for their family. And this is how, and this is what this administration is encouraging. And their approach is that they're trying, and this is the thing, they're trying to overturn all that has been done in history in a small amount of time. So they want to backtrack, and this is not how change management works, ever, in any space. You cannot go into any organization and say, I'm going to be responsible for change management and try to rip off years of what that organization has done, because you're never going to be successful. What they're trying to do in the administration that they're in now is they're trying to rip off all of the history that has been done over centuries. They want to undo all of it all at once before they're able, and the goal is to try to do this before the judges who sit in the federal courts are able to do anything about it. So they want to rip all these band-aids off quickly because they know that the federal judges are going to fight against it. But the problem is that the federal judges move too slow. And even when they try to block it, they block it too slow. And then Elon Musk and Donald Trump do what they want to do anyway. That's the reality. And then the reality of it is that they're finding ways around these federal judges and having to deal with the House and the Senate and and Congress. They don't want to deal with Congress. So instead of dealing with Congress, what they do is, for example, the Department of Education, they cannot dismantle the Department of Education on a federal level. But what they can do is reorganize and restructure the entire Department of Education by firing half the staff. They don't need the Congress's approval for that. So they cut and they say that they're getting rid of waste fraud. And then when you have the weak ass Democrats that we have, then they vote in favor of a bill that they shouldn't vote in favor of because they're not radical enough to shut it down. And these white men understand that. And this is why they're doing things that are so insane. This is why they're doing things that are so insidious. Because they know that nobody is going to check them. And when nobody is going to check you, you can do what you want. When nobody is going to do the thing, they know that these people are soft. They know that the Democrats are soft. They know that. Facts. And y'all showed up with signs. It's like showing up with knives to a gunfight. Y'all showing up with signs. Yeah, I mean, I guess. And at first I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. But then I'm thinking about it. Then y'all did all of that with the signs to not really protest? To not let it shut down? Like y'all showing up with knives to a gunfight, and then y'all want people to put their faith in the Democratic Party. But y'all are a joke. This entire government system, and this is what I'm saying, let it be segregated then. Because there'll be no Democrats and no Republicans. It's going to be black people doing what black people do for black people. And when black people advance, they're still going to find an excuse for why black folks are being successful. They're still going to want to find a way to fix it. They're still going to want to find a way to burn it down. They're still going to want to find a way to destroy our communities because that's what they do. They don't really want segregation. They want black people to stop advancing. They want black people to not be able to fight back. That's what they want. Truly, because the stupid shit, being able to segregate water fountains and restaurants, it's a sign. It's a sign to black people. It won't ever happen. And then the other thing is that states have their own laws about about desegregation, but they want black people to know that they are. And to be honest, the solution for black people is to keep being authentically black and keep making strides forward in society. That's the answer. That's the answer. Black people have found, and this is the thing. This is not a sad story. Black people have found the answer a million times over. We have found the answer when we built Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, Florida. Those were the answers. And guess what? Even after they burned it down, black people still had the answer because we rebuilt it. It may not look the same, but black people are thriving. Black women are the most educated population in America right now. The answer is to keep doing what black people is doing. The answer is to find different ways to pour money into the black community. Let me tell y'all something. They got rid of DEI at Target, and you see what's happening at Target? We keep standing on business. We stand on business. That is what black people have done, and that is what has gotten us the furthest. We stand on business. That's it. This is not new. This is what's crazy is that they're not reinventing. They're not inventing something new. Black people have been in this situation through every single president, except maybe Obama, which even then questionable, right? But black people notably saw more success there. But in general, black people have always been in this situation. Hello? Y'all forgot about Reagan and Nixon and their war on drugs? Y'all forgot about how they made a certain form of drug, the war on crack? Remember that it was only it was only a war on the type of drug that black people had access to. Because when it came to that snow, which is also the same form of drug as the rock, they wasn't putting people in jail for the same amount of time. Hello. This is not new to us. Bill Clinton created a law where black folks who were incarcerated because of the war on drugs could not move back into public housing if they were on parole. Okay? They were forcing people to go back into the street and do crimes of poverty. The war and absolutely the three strikes rule. This is not new to black people. We've lived through this a million times over. The message for black people is don't fear. First of all, listen, I don't know, I don't try to force God onto nobody, but if you believe in God and I believe in God, that's the guide of my life. That's the person that guides this world that I live in. That's for me personally. So if you are religious, if you're spiritual, whoever you feel, however whatever spiritual connection you have in general, like that's always the guiding space. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, because I do believe in God, I get on my knees and pray every morning. I get on my knees and pray every morning. And I ask that he be the one to guide my life. Because in my mind, God signs the final executive order. And I'm not talking about that problematic ass religion. So don't even, please, because I don't want nobody to, be in an uproar. I don't subscribe to no problematic religion. I believe in God. And what I say is that God, when God say yes, ain't nobody else can say no. And black people have survived through every single space. So whatever it is that they doing in that office is what they doing in that office. But black people have never, ever not been able to sustain ourselves in every space, every time. Yeah, because I just want to be clear, because I know, listen, I understand that there's problem in the church. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want no problematic ass. I'm not talking about that problematic. I'm talking about me and my relationship with God. I pray. And I already know my God has the final say. So if that's not what he wanted, it ain't going to happen. And all of this that they doing, to be honest, is literally they're exposing people's cards. Because at the end of this 4-year term, it's going to be a lot of sad singing and flower bringing. You hear what I'm saying? So it's like, do what you got to do. But black people, we've been through this. This is not a devastation. This is not a sad song. This is not us being defeated. This is us going through history. This is us going through the same things we've gone through in history. Like that's what it is. No, also y'all, I'm gonna be on TMZ today. They asking me if I want to talk about JFK's grandson blasting Trump for not warning the Kennedy family. Are y'all dumb? I don't want to talk about none of them people. John F. Kennedy, I don't give a damn what they told John F. Kennedy. I already picked my topic, and I'm going to be talking about Megan Good and Jonathan Majors, the black stuff that I know about. Y'all got me messed up. I think the hell not. And if y'all was on my live yesterday, the Shade Room tried to set me up. The Shade Room tried to set me up. Like, the Shade Room tried to set me up. I don't think so. John F. Kennedy? Hell to the nah. No, thank you. I will pass. I think the hell not. Like, I'm so sorry. No, thank you. I don't. Yeah, the Shade Room tried to set me up and put me on a debate with a coon, and I had to tell him hell to the nah. Anyway, I say this. I truly, let me tell you, I'll give y'all a brief update on the Shade Room. The Shade Room wanted me to go live yesterday and debate. They told me the topic the day of, which was yesterday. They told me that they wanted me to talk about if there is a distribution of power under Trump 2.0. And then they sent over the link of the person I was supposed to debate, and he was a coon as hell. He was saying crazy stuff. He was on there talking about, oh, how y'all gonna blame Trump for wanting to cut certain, he has to cut fraud to make America money again. So how y'all gonna be mad that he cut food stamps and Medicaid? And then that man turned around and said, but eggs is $8 and y'all want him to bring down the price of eggs. So you gonna cut food stamps to bring down the price of eggs? So the people who are on food stamps still won't be able to afford eggs. And that's when I knew I couldn't do it. Because I knew I was going to get gaslit to hell and I was going to have to turn that whole upside down. And y'all already know. I gets a little, when I can't be arguing with nobody like that. I can't argue with nobody like that. So I had to respectfully decline, because y'all not going to have me on here acting a fool. Then y'all going to have clips of Dwight going around talking about Dwight is an angry black man, which I am. But I have every right to be. Okay? I have every right to be. Black people have the right to be upset in America. Have y'all seen what America is doing to us? Okay? Shit. And then they would have been like, well, Dwight says that he's okay with food stamp fraud. And I am. That's true. That's true. But it would be taken out of context. I absolutely do think that if you're not going to give people real money for food stamps, then they should be, if you ain't going to give them enough to survive, then I think people should be able to do whatever they want with their food stamps. I personally don't care. I do think food stamp fraud is okay, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care to police what people buy with the pennies they getting from the government. It ain't enough money anyway. I'm not mad at them. I do think that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad. So for me, I personally, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want them to take that. I didn't want them to take that clip and run with it. And next thing you know, I'm going viral. And they like, Dwight said everybody should participate in food stamp fraud. Because that's not technically what I said. What I said was, I think it's okay. Okay? What I said was, I think sometimes you got to get up on the government. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with that. Y'all giving people pennies to the goddamn dollar. People is out here trying to survive on them little ass food stamps. Please, okay? Somebody should do it. Hell, listen, I support it. And I just don't want nobody putting me on CNN talking about this content creator can't be trusted. So I had to decline the Shade Room because I said, you know what? Y'all gonna have me up there talking about food stamp fraud being okay. And I know how this go. Y'all, and listen, I'm not in the habit of defending myself on social media no more, and I don't want my platform to go to hell. So I had to respectfully decline. Like, honestly, I feel like you should be able to do whatever you need to do to survive. And if that means you got to sell some food stamps, sell some food stamps. You hear me? Shit. Listen. And that's that on that. Cause them little bit of the little bit of $200 I went grocery shopping. It's just me and my one kid. I have one child. I went grocery shopping this week. It was almost $200. Y'all giving people $200, $300 for a whole family. Y'all asking people to feed their whole family off $300. What's that gonna do for the month? For the month? Is we serious? What we gonna cook off of that? And this is what I'm talking about with going back to segregation. If that's what y'all want to do, because let me tell you something. I bet you black people won't be starving. Black people understand the importance of food. We really do. I'm telling you. Black people understand. When you understand how important, when food is a staple in our community. Food is a large part of black culture. You understand? Black people understand the importance of food more than the importance of money. People have to eat. Black food, and this is why the cookout is such a big deal. Black people have always communed over food. That's what we do. So if y'all segregate, I bet you it won't be no hungry black people no more. If segregation happens, I bet you black people won't go hungry no more. I bet you money. I bet my bottom dollar on that. If we do segregate, I bet you y'all gonna see less black people walking around hungry because y'all want to segregate them. Black people know how to live in community. And this is what people don't understand. Black people understand how to live in community. We've always existed in community. So we are absolutely going to find every means of survival that we can. What are you talking about? What are we talking about here? Black people live in community. We've always done that. So in black cultures, we've always shared food. We've always shared resources. We've always had shared responsibility. When we was growing up, that's why everybody on the block knew who you was. Cause everybody know your mama. Everybody mama knows somebody mama that knows somebody mama. And that's how we used to keep them kids out of trouble. You understand what I'm saying? We existed in community. If you ain't had it and your neighbor got it and we both poor, we both got it. Because I know I could go knock on Miss Barbara's door and say, Miss Barbara, we need to hold this. And then next month, Miss Barbara going to get it back. Because she going to need something. You hear what I'm saying? The rent parties. That's how we survived. When you couldn't pay your rent, it wasn't no GoFundMe. It wasn't no asking for money. People threw rent parties. That's how people survived from getting evicted. We found, and that's the thing. Black people make joy out of anything. We will make a joyful noise out of anything. You hear what I'm saying? That's that. We ain't gonna be no need for food stamp fraud if y'all segregate. Cause black people not gonna let other black people go without. That's not what we do. Even in today's society, we don't think about it. But when people that reference to go borrow milk, you know how people always talk about, oh, I went over next door to go borrow some milk, some eggs. It is symbolic. It is symbolic of how black folks have existed and survived through community. Individualism is a staple of white supremacy. That is not a part of black culture. That is not how black people that is not how we have existed throughout history. If you look at the history of black people, we've always survived through community. We've thrived through community. So segregating ain't gonna do nothing but a thing. I'm telling y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's that on that. That is that on that. And so I'm just saying, and I gotta I'm I gotta hop off live because I gotta do this test check for TMZ in a minute. But yeah, I'm supposed to be on TMZ sometime between 1:30 and 3:30, 1:40 and 3:30. So I guess once I find out for sure, I'll try to hop back on live and tell y'all the exact time that I'm supposed to be on TMZ. But I gotta go get ready for this TMZ thing. It's Eastern Standard Time. It's 1:40 to 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I'll try to hop back on live and tell y'all the exact time once I find out. And yeah, but love y'all. This was a great conversation. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be great. Remember, oh yeah, my shirt. Segregation. If you want to segregate, I'm rooting for everybody black. I was supposed to be wearing this to encourage us this whole time, and y'all couldn't even see it. God damn. Anyway, rooting for everybody black. Love y'all. Be safe. Be great.